Hello, and welcome to the fourth and final installment of introductory videos for SPEasyForms. In this video, I'm going to talk about field control adapters, which is a fancy name for a pretty simple concept that's actually easier to demonstrate than to explain, so I'm going to jump right into a demonstration. What I want to do here is apply a type ahead or autocomplete functionality to this job title field, and I want the data to come from another list in the SharePoint site. So I have this other list called job titles, and it has in it a whole bunch of, well, job titles, about 2,500 of them actually. To configure this, I go to my SPEasyForms configuration, find the job title field, and click the little shuffle icon to configure the field control adapter. If there are multiple types of adapters for the SP field type that I'm currently configuring, I get this adapter type dialog where I get to pick which adapter I want to apply. I can only apply one adapter to any given field. In this case, I'm going to choose autocomplete and hit OK. That brings up the dialog to configure the autocomplete adapter. If the autocomplete adapter had been the only adapter available for this type of field, it would have come straight to this dialog, skipping the adapter type selection. So first I have to choose what list I want to look up against, in this case job titles. Then I choose the title field and hit OK. Save that. Go back to my form and refresh. And now I should have type ahead capability. And that's really all there is to the autocomplete adapter. The next adapter I want to apply is a cascading lookup adapter, and I want to apply it to the sales region, sales division, and sales state fields. Each of these fields is a lookup. But what I want is, when the user selects a sales region, the sales division list should only allow me to choose divisions that make sense for that region. When they select a sales division, the sales state should be trimmed to only show states that are in that division. To make this work, I have to do a little extra work to the lookup lists. This is the sales region lookup list, and there's nothing special about this one. But when I switch over to the sales division list, there's an extra twist. In addition to having the field that I'm going to do the lookup against, I also have a lookup field back to the sales region. This provides the relationship on which the trimming is done. Similarly, the sales state list has a lookup back to the sales division. Once I have the lookup lists configured correctly, I'm ready to configure SPEasyForms. To configure cascading lookup, you go to the field that's the child of the relationship, the one that's going to be trimmed. Click on the adapter. There's only one adapter available for a lookup list, so it jumped right to the cascading lookup adapter. First I choose the relationship list, in this case sales division, and the rest of it's filled in for me. The reason this worked is because my field names are the same in both the source list and the form. If they were different, I would have had to fill in what is the parent column and the child column in the source list and in the form. Once that's configured, hit OK, hit save, go back to my list and hit refresh. And now, if I look at sales division, there are no options available to me. I have to choose a sales region first. When I say Northeast, it only shows me sales divisions that are in the Northeast. Now I have to configure sales state. Choose the sales state relationship list. Again, everything is filled in for me because my field names are the same. Save that. And that's all there is to cascading lookup adapt. Those two adapters are the only adapters that were available in the initial release of SPEasyForms version 2014.01. There are a couple of other adapters available in the add-ons package version 2014.01.18 as of this recording. To demonstrate them, I'm going to switch over to another list. This list is sort of a poor man's shopping cart. The first thing that I want to do is I want to default the order by field to the current user. To do that, I switch over to the SPEasyForms settings page for this list, find the order by field, hit the configure field control adapter button, and choose default to current user. There's nothing to configure here. I can either add or remove it. That's it. When I refresh the list, my username has been put in the order by field. The user can still change it. If I want it to be read-only, I have to combine it with a field visibility rule, but I don't have that requirement, so I'm going to move on to the next change. The next thing I want to do is create a master detail form. I have this lookup field over here, and what I want is when the user selects a lookup item, I copy in some additional data from the lookup list into these fields over here. To do that, I go back to my configuration, select the adapter next to the field that I want to configure, and choose Lookup Detail Adapter. I have to choose the relationship list, which in this case is inventory, and the additional field that I want to suck into this field. The form lookup column was selected for me because there's only one lookup in this list. If there were multiples, I would have had to choose which lookup column in this list I wanted to use also. I'll do the same thing for description and price. Save my configuration. Come back over to here and refresh. And now, when I select an item, this data is also sucked in from the lookup list. Note that in general, you want your field type in this list to be the same as the field type of the data you're sucking in from the other list. For instance, the description field here is an enhanced rich text field. If it were enhanced rich text over there and plain text over here, the data wouldn't look right. You can actually match up fields that are different types, but if you do, your mileage may vary. For instance, it makes no sense at all to copy the description into a user field. Also, the item field is a duplication of the select an item field. The reason I did that is because the item field is actually the title field in this list, and I want it to show up in views, so the title with edit menu has some useful data in it. The other thing I want to do is make these detail fields read-only. It doesn't make sense, for instance, for the user to be changing the price. To do that, I have to combine it with some field visibility rules. So I'm going to go back to my configuration. First, I'm going to edit the highlight yellow rule on item and just change it to hidden. I don't need to display this at all since it's duplicate data, and the value is going to get copied in automatically by the lookup to tail adapter. For description and price, I'm going to change these to read only. Save that. Refresh my form. And now these values are read-only. That's it for field control adapters. And that actually concludes my introductory videos for SPEasyForms. I've now pretty much covered the same material that's in the built-in help file, although there are certainly nuances that have been glossed over or skipped in these video presentations that are covered in more detail in the help file, so be sure to check that out too.